he's never been to a wedding. He asked his companion, one of the other shepherds with him, to guard his sheep while he goes and attends that wedding. And Rasulullah ﷺ goes to attend the wedding, and he rested in the way, and he was overcome by sleep, and he slept throughout the night. And when Rasulullah ﷺ narrated, he used to wake up at dawn. That night he couldn't even wake up at dawn. He didn't wake up until the sun was high, and he missed the whole thing. Next night he hears about another wedding in another place. So he asked the same friend to please mind his sheep for him while he goes and attend that wedding. He wants to know what these weddings are all about. Have some, like all young people, want to have some curiosity and some fun. And the same thing happens again. Rasulullah ﷺ said, and then I knew that I have no luck attending any of these. I will not be able to attend any of this, so he never attempted again. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was guarding him from all evil. And another thing that happened in his youth is he never touched an idol. He never kneeled to an idol, and he never worshipped an idol. We saw when he was 12 years old, he said to Bahira, he hates nothing more than the idols, than Al-Lat wal-Uzza. And the custom of Quraysh that every year they would go to one of the idols and they would have a festivity around them, and especially his family of Banu Hashim, they have that idol, one idol that they glorified and worship, and they will all go and have blessings from that idol and touch that idol. And Rasulullah ﷺ would not go with them. And then one year, his aunt and his uncle Abu Talib, they got very angry with him. Said, Muhammad, something will happen to you. You reject our gods. You have this year to come with us, and you have to go to this idol, and you have to pay respect to that idol. So the young man, Rasulullah ﷺ, didn't want his uncle to be very angry with him, and he goes out to the idol, and as he walks into the idol, they see Muhammad ﷺ being frightened before he gets there, and he runs away from it. And they ask him, what's wrong with you, Muhammad? Why didn't you finish getting your blessings? He said, Wallahi, when I got close to that idol, I saw a tall man in white behind the idol, and he was so angry, and he said, do not touch this idol, Muhammad. So I ran away from him. And that was an angel from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from worshipping idols. And one other event that happened that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam before he became a messenger, that it's the custom of Quraysh to get naked in few events. Like if people are working out in the sun, and people didn't have that many clothes at that time. So for their clothes not to get dirty or their sweat in their garments, they would just take it off and they would work naked. And another thing, if they were carrying stones, they would take their garments and put it on their shoulders and put the stone above it, so their shoulders would not get hurt, but they would work naked. And then one time, Rasulullah ﷺ was working with his peers, and they were carrying stones from one way to the other. And he was carrying these stones, and then his uncle Az-Zubayr ibn Abd al-Muttalib came to him and said, Muhammad, you're going to hurt your shoulder. Take your garment and fold it, put it on your shoulder like your friends are doing, and then you can work much more easier. And Rasulullah ﷺ wanted to obey him. While he was trying to take his clothes off, he fell fainted, and he lost consciousness. They wake him up, he comes up again, tried it, and he falls again. And then Rasulullah ﷺ, he said he never got naked after that in public again. He never got the chance to do that. And then another thing they used to do naked is making the tawaf. They go around the Kaaba. We know that they used to do that naked for multiple reasons. And that actually continued into Islam way until the 9th year after Hijrah. Into 22 years into Islam, until Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had ordered them to stop that. And then the ayah came, وَخُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ masjid, is you have to wear clothes whenever you come into any masjid. And one of the other things that were known about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was his manners. His manners, even before Islam, even before anything was known about him as a messenger. His manners was so great that when he was in the house of Abu Talib had so many children, and he had little money. Little money means little food. Too many children and little food, that means fighting over food. When you bring the food and they had one plate, all the children in the house would run and they'll start snatching food, and then they will fight each other over the food until the food is gone. Except Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He had so much good manners, and he would not go after food, and he would wait his turn. And so many times when his turn comes, there is no food left. All the food has been eaten. So Abu Talib has ordered, after he saw that Muhammad would stay days without food and no complaints, he ordered that before you put the food on the table for everybody, you take a portion for Muhammad first, and then everybody eats. So that was his manners in the house of Abu Talib. And something else about his manners, and he was very truthful, that he never, ever lied. And think about that as a human being, and you see that is very difficult. He never told a lie, not once in his life. In that society, that they had no problem with lying, no problem with cheating, no problem with a lot of things. And Rasulullah ﷺ chose at a young age the way of the truth, and he never ever told a lie. And that was something that is known in Quraysh, so that he was given the title of As-Sadiq Al-Amin, the truthful and the honest. The honest and the truthful. And then when he was about 14 or 15 years old, and we're trying to go through his life chronologically, when he was 14 or 15 years old, and in some writing, in some references, it say he was 20 years old, there was a war. There was a war between the tribe of Qais Aylan and the tribe of Quraysh and Kinana. Quraysh and Kinana on one side, and Qais Aylan on the other side. And this war happened during the holy months, the sacred months. And we know there are Rajab, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram. And Arabs, according to the religion of Ibrahim, and of course to Islam, it's the same thing. According to the religion of Ibrahim, they would not have any war in these months. These months are sacred and no war can take place. And if it happened, they would call it the war of sin. The war of sin, or in Arabic, Harb al-Fujar. And Arabs fought in the sacred months 5 times. So there are 5 wars that are called Harb al-Fujar. And one of them was this war when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was about 14 or 15, according to Ibn Hisham. And he said in Hadith al-Sahih, كنت أنبل لأعمامي يوم الفجار. I used to ambul, to either gather the arrows for the arch and arrow throwing, or in another narration to prevent, to shield my uncle from the arrows that come to them, to carry a shield around so the arrows would hit the shield. So his contribution into the war was not in killing anybody, but it was mostly in defense against the aggression. And of the lessons that we get out of that, the scholar said that he participated in 2 things that there is no problem participating in, regardless of religion. We know even the life of Rasulullah ﷺ before Islam, even his life was a lesson to us. So the 2 lessons that we take from that is, number 1, self-defense is something that is legal and there is nothing wrong with it in Islam. He was defending his family against the aggression of Qais Aylan. The second thing is to defend the sacred things. The sacred months that were violated when that tribe attacked Quraysh, then war against that is also something that is legitimate, that Rasulullah ﷺ had no problem participating in. Another thing that Rasulullah ﷺ participated in before Islam was a treaty. A treaty known as Hilf al-Fudul. Hilf al-Fudul, the treaty of either the rights, which al-Fudul means al-Huquq, the rights of people, or protecting the rights of people, And other scholars said that actually 4 people that initiated the treaty, all of them, first name was Fudul. So, plural, they were al-Fudul. And the first narration is probably has more authority to it. It's the treaty of protecting the rights of people. But from the name of it, it's so appealing. But here's the story of that treaty. A man from Zabid, from Yemen, came to Mecca, and he had trade relations, merchant relation with people of Mecca. And one merchant in Mecca, his name was Al-Asi ibn Wa'il. Al-Asi ibn Wa'il his son is a lot more famous than him in our history, because his son is named Amr ibn al-As. We know he's one of the companions, radiallahu anhu. So his father, Al-As ibn Wa'il, was a merchant, a rich merchant in Mecca. And this man